Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about Gradiare. When I first got this book, I wasn't sure how to pronounce the author's name, let alone the title of the book. And when I did the unboxing for it, and I thought I butchered both the author's name and the title name, the author said, "No, you got my name right. You got the title close enough. There's a pronunciation guide in the back." And I'm glad she said something, because I usually look for the pronunciation guide up here in the front, and so I wouldn't have looked for it in the back. But yeah, there's a pronunciation guide in the back. But it is pronounced Gradiare, and it is by Hanna Baribeau. And I thought this was going to be one of those middle grade books. It looks like a middle grade book. It is a middle grade book, but it is also it's one of those books you can either read. A kid could read this. That's not the issue. A middle grade reader could totally read this, but an adult will absolutely enjoy it as well. The main characters, I thought it was going to be like a kid finds a sword in the forest, and just by the look on the cover, that it was just going to be one of those regular kid finds a sword, becomes the chosen one, and it's like, why is the chosen one a 12-year-old child? And there's no chosen one trope in this one. Which surprised me, because it just kind of has an Excalibur, whoever draws this sword will be the next king type feel to it. But it isn't. The main characters, it's a dual point of view between Jewel and Pendry. Now, the Gradiare is a rebel group that is trying to overthrow a kingdom. Overthrow a king, and the king is just a real jerk. He is looking for total dictatorship, and like at one point Pendry is telling Jewel about some of the curfews, that the people have to be in their home, the gates get closed at this time, and then at this time the people have to be in their homes. At this time the lights have to be out in your house. You have to turn the lights out and go to bed. And Jewel is just like, that is so stupid. Why do people, once they're in their homes, what does the king care what they do? How do you start a rebellion? Well, first of all, tell people when they have to go to bed. It's bad enough when you're a child and your parents are telling you have a 9 o'clock bedtime. Telling an adult who has been working all day when they can go to bed, to heck with you, okay? And this book, one of the things I liked about it is that it is so... It's such a timely book, considering the political climate that we are in here in the United States of America. If you are not angry enough about what's going on in America right now, go ahead and read this book. This is where we're heading. And if a Gradiare is starting, where do I sign up? I have no problem with magic lights underneath the city. I'm good with that. I want the magic lights. I want the magic food. I want the magic. I want the thunder and lightning candy. Can I have the thunder and lightning candy? I want the thunder and lightning candy. That's what I want. If I could have anything out of this world, I want the thunder and lightning candy. Yeah. Is it thunder and lightning? No, thunder and sunshine. Yeah, it's thunder and sunshine mixed with lightning. But either way, I want the candy. And that's one of the things I love about fantasy stories is nothing will draw me into a fantasy story more than the food. It's one of the things I enjoyed about the magical world that was so popular, is I wanted the magical food. as the Super Carlin brothers point out with Percy Jackson, like, the best they can give us is, like, they have Coca-Cola, we have Coca-Cola. They have blue Doritos and blue Coca-Cola. Big deal. Who cares? You know, that's the most magical you can make it, is that it's blue. Okay, whatever. I want the candy from Gradiare. I want Bertie Bott's Ever Flavored Beans. I want chocolate frogs that are not just a big brick of chocolate. I mean, whoever made the big brick of chocolate and called it a chocolate frog and thought that was a good idea, what were you doing? They needed to be small, little pieces of chocolate filled with caramel. That's what we were expecting. Or at least that's what I was expecting. I don't know if anybody else was expecting it, but that's what I was thinking, is like a chocolate shaped frog filled with caramel. Like, that would have been lovely. I'd buy them all day long. But yeah, the Thunder and Sunshine candy, if we can make Gradiare so popular that candy companies start trying to replicate the candy from Gradiare, I would love that. That would be great. So Jewel and Pendry are the main characters. Okay, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm sorry it took so long to get into what the book was about. But Jewel is a Golden Vein individual. I don't know if she's like an elf. Maybe she's an elf. I don't know. But she is a Golden Vein who is living a peaceful life in the woods, having this perfectly nice little hobbit life where her biggest concern is breakfast and a cozy fire and just comfortable boots and a nice warm bed. Like, that's what she wants. She wants her garden and her bed and her books and her second breakfast, and just leave her alone. But unfortunately that peace gets disturbed because here comes Pendry crashing through the forest with an arm injury. He is a falsely accused former peace officer. He's witnessed a murder, and they're trying to pin the murder on him. There's a whole corruption going on, and it's the first time Pendry is seeing the corruption in his kingdom. He has lived his whole life thinking that the kingdom and the army of the king is absolutely perfect, with the exception of some dumb laws. He even points out to Jewel that, yes, the curfew thing is stupid. If he and many of his peace officers, if they saw somebody out past curfew, they would walk them home to make sure they got home safely. If they saw lights after lights out, they would knock on the door and say, hey, your blackout curtains aren't covering enough light. Adjust those. Okay, yeah, you're good. And they would let them go because they thought those were stupid laws. And they only enforced the important laws, what they thought was in the important laws. So Pendry points out that a lot of the peace officers aren't really bad. They are trying to uphold the peace, but not necessarily enforce the stupid laws that make no sense to them. But as he sees the corruption in his kingdom after being falsely accused of this murder, he decides that the corruption of the king is getting beyond what they can possibly stand. And Jewel, even though she was part of the Gradiare, her first instinct is, oh, you're a peace officer, I should hate you. But then when he explains that he's not a peace officer anymore because he's wanted dead or alive because of a murder he didn't commit, she's like, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Let's go. And he's like, where are you taking me? And she's like, we're going to go to the Capitol and we're going to give him the information you've got. And he's like, all right, lead the way. Except he has been so brainwashed by the school system and the government that he has lived in that he is completely unaware of everything that's living in the forest. He's been told that these creatures are all mythological creatures, and as they're going along, Jewel is educating him. And some of the things she quickly catches on that he is very oblivious to a lot of it. So she tells him the important things, like, okay, you have to avoid the wraiths, you have to do certain things to avoid the fae, these things are dangerous. If you see a fairy and they start dancing, by all means go out and dance with them. It's great, they're fine, they're not going to hurt you. But then she has these other moments where, like, he picks up a rock and she's like, what color was the rock that you picked up? And he's like, green. Why? And she's like, okay, the green ones are fine. Just be wary of the orange ones. And he's like, what's wrong with the orange ones? And she just kind of smiles at him, and he's like, are you messing with me? And she just turns and walks away. He's like, that's not funny. And, like, he's like, is something gonna crawl out of my pocket and eat me? Like, are you sure this is okay? And she has those moments where she's very concerned about him and she's trying to teach him, and then there's other times when she's just completely messing with him and having fun at his expense. And they get to the capital, and that's where he gets to meet his family, and he really learns the extent of the king's corruption. And by that point, he's like, I'm all in. Whatever you need me to do, however you need me to do it, let's do it. I am ready to help. And he's kind of afraid to tell him that he's a peace officer at first, and then he finally tells him, and they're all like, yeah, we knew. And he's like, how did you know I was a peace officer? And they're just looking at him like, dude, you walk like a duck, you talk like a duck, you're probably a duck. And he's like, well, you guys don't hate me? And they're like, most of our people here are former peace officers. Where do you think we get our new recruits from? They're peace officers that found out the corruption of the kingdom. So, yeah, you're fine. But I love that it's not just a fantasy world where everything is kind of similar to our world. There's magic that is just kind of like quietly hidden in the world, like the sutures that Jewel uses to help heal his wound. There's hardly a scar, but like it doesn't just heal him immediately. It takes a little bit of time. Not as much time as in our world, but enough time that he's still stiffened, his arm is still stiff and sore, but then as he gets used to moving it around, he's fine. And none of this is spoilery, because a lot of this is on the back of the book. I will not spoil the book. I promise. I am doing so much better at this than when I started, when I was just like, hey, here is everything about the book so you don't even have to read it. No, definitely go read the book because it is really fun. Jewel, her family, her whole family is in the Gradiare. So she's been living out here all by herself, and on one hand she really wants to be by herself in the cabin. On the other hand, she wants to be with her family, and she misses her family. Even her grandmother calls her my little imp, and honestly, Grandma is my favorite character. You don't get a whole lot of time with Grandma, but she is just the sweetest and most mischievous woman, and she is sitting there talking with the others, and she's like, even the younger, he's like, I have no idea how old Grandma is. She's like old, and Grandma's like, I might be old, but my ears work fine and I can still kick your butt. And so she's got some spunk to her, and I love Grandma. And she even gives advice to Pendry. It's like she immediately just embraces that, okay, this is Pendry, this is a new guy here. And even though Jewel's biological family is here, it's not just her family that is family. All of the Gradiare have kind of a familial bond, to the point where even Jewel will snap at people that are not even her biological family, and she will put them in their place as if they were her own uncle or brother or cousin. And it doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how young you are, she's going to treat you, she's going to give you the treatment that she thinks you need in that moment. You know, so there's times when she is very kind and loving, and she's like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Other times she's like, hey, if you're done wasting our time, you can go back to your knitting, old man, and let the real warriors handle this. You know, so she will give it to them as best as they deserve, whatever they need in that moment. If they need to be knocked upside the head to get it through their head something needs to happen or that they need to pull themselves together, she'll do it. If they need a handhold, she's going to hold their hands. Whatever they need. She is so good at reading the people around her of what they need. But she also has her own issues. Like, she suffers from a lot of, like, anxiety, and a lot of it is stress-induced anxiety, and she does, like, breathing exercises and whatnot. And so she has this gentle facade, she has this tough facade, and then she has the way she is, and that's when she lets her guard down, is when she's with Pendry or with her family, the people that she feels the closest to, and you can kind of see who she's really close to. And it's nice to see that everybody has their own kind of vibe. You've got her sister, who is Lavender, who is a very nurturing person and very quiet and soft-spoken, but she can still be tough. Like, if somebody, she's very tough when somebody needs, like, hey, we're done with this. This person needs rest, so you're going to leave them alone now and let them get their rest, okay? Okay. And then there's times when she's just, like, sitting in a corner just watching everything, just taking it all in. I'm like, that was an interesting choice. You know, and then she's got her boisterous brothers and her boisterous cousins. And I love the way that everybody interacts. It feels very genuine. It feels very... It almost kind of reminds me of my own family, honestly, the way everybody interacts with each other. So, as usual, there will be a link in the description below so you can get your own copy. I definitely recommend this for anyone who likes fantasy and rebellions. I definitely recommend it for anyone who is a middle grade or up, because, like I said, adults will enjoy this. I was talking to one of my friends, and she's like almost, let's see, what did she say? She is going on 60, and she wants to read this next. So, we'll see if I'm willing to let it go, or how soon I'm willing to let it go, because I may want to revisit it, because I'm definitely wanting to get the next one. This is part of a trilogy. The second book is already out, Once a Lion. The third book, she has just commissioned the artwork for the cover. There's no release date set yet, but the third one is called Always a Lion. I think it's just a trilogy, but I will link the book, this book in the description, and where you can get Once a Lion. The only thing that I have concerns about is this book has fresh dandelions, like very young, prime dandelions. The next one is very much like this, only it's mostly blue in the background, and the dandelions are starting to go to seed. And this is kind of in keeping with the Gradiere's symbol, is a dagger with some dandelions around it. And so I'm sitting there thinking, okay, the first one has fresh young dandelions. The second one has dandelions that have the fluff on them. And I was like, is the third one gonna have dandelions with like just one little seed left in it, or is it just gonna be like completely dead? Like, I'm worried. I'm very worried. But I still want to read it. So, that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you in a couple of days when we do Bad Sector. Bad Sector is the next one that I'm going to be doing by C.Y. Dethen. So, get yourself a copy of the book so that I have other people to yap about this book with and make my fan theories with. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, bye!